Hello everyone, Hawaii Fervo here with a little update on the tank. As you can see, we've got the aquascaping done, we've got some sand and water in the tank, and we're well on our way. We have about 70 pounds of dry rock from Premium Aquatics. The pieces that I received were actually quite a bit bigger than these, but I broke these down with a mason chisel and a mallet, and that did the job really nicely. For the sand, I went with Tropic Eden, Aragonite, Mini Flakes. Tropic Eden was highly reviewed in the forums over Carib Sea because of the fact that it's a lot cleaner. So you'll notice if you look at other people's videos, when they use Carib Sea, they get a real murky, dirty, cloudy look to the tank, and it kind of stays like that for about 12 to 24 hours. With the Tropic Eden, you don't get that. You can see straight to the back of your tank, everything in there. There is a little bit of cloudiness, but nowhere near what you get with the Carib Sea. So I went with the Tropic Eden because I didn't want to get all that dirt in my tank, contaminating everything, because you don't know what's in there really. So I like the Tropic Eden, and I can definitely say it's a good little product. Firstly, I do have to point out is that for some reason the device that I was using to make the videos previously has decided to play up a bit, so I'm using something different today, and subsequently the exposure level on this is causing everything to look really blue. To me, in my eyes, everything is actually quite white, so apologies for that. So I just have a couple changes to go over with you guys real quick on what's happened with the tank since the last update. I actually took out some of the PVC piping because I was having a lot of trouble with leaks and things like that, unfortunately. Let me just see if I can adjust the exposure level here. Nope, doesn't look like it. So, yeah, you'll see one of the overflows we're now using flexi tubing instead. The leaks were just an absolute pain. I had issues with several of the joints, and it was also this same output here that I had the issue with the siphoning. So subsequently, after about 3 days of trying to fix the leaks, I just gave up. I thought, screw it, I'm just going to go with the straight flexi tubing, and this is where I'm at now. And actually, as well as the leaks, the siphoning issue's been resolved as well. So somewhere along the line, something to do with the way that I set up that PVC piping, I was getting that siphoning, has now been resolved with that. So I'm really happy with that. I also had to remove the flexi tubing for the remove the PVC piping for the return as well. Again, the same issue, I was getting leaks at the joints. I'm not too sure what happened. I guess obviously, I can't blame the PVC, it had to have been my method, but this one held up perfectly. I didn't need to do any touch-ups or anything. I used the same cement, same joints, same piping, so maybe it was just unlucky. I don't know, but after 3 days I decided enough was enough, and I just had to bite the bullet and go with the flexi tubing. As well as the PVC piping being pulled out, I also replaced the return pump. Previously I had the Mag 12. The Mag 12 was just too powerful, too loud and too big. Not really suitable for a 65-gallon tank, and after speaking to a few people and doing a bit of research, the Sea Chase came quite highly reviewed and suggested. So right there you're looking at a Sea Chase 3.0, and that's doing the job perfectly for me. Really happy with the reduction in noise and the flow that I'm getting from this guy as well is perfect. I've also set up the auto top off. That was the Tunzi Osmolator 3155, I believe. This is the max level sensor. What happens is when this gets raised up, you get a little, there you go, gives a little warning that your water level is rising too high. Down here is the low level sensor, so when water is not touching that to a certain point, then from the reservoir water is pumped in through the tube on the left here. That guy there, you can't really see it that well, but you can kind of see it. There we go. Water is pumped in through there into the sump. When that ran for the first time, because of me having a rather large reservoir and it's kind of high, the water level in the reservoir was higher than this tube. So what happened was, because of that, when the pump had shut off, because of that level of the water in the reservoir, it would actually continue siphoning, which is why I've moved the tubing to the sump rather than down here, which is where it was initially planned to be. So for right now, that probe holder or tube holder is just supporting that there. That will go back here once I start dosing, and then we'll figure out another way of securing that. But for right now, that's doing the job nicely. Going forward from here, oh, I should point out actually at this point that I'm only running RODI water. There's no salt in the water right now. That is for next week. So my plan is to start putting livestock in the tank towards the end of March. It's about 4 weeks from now. The reason for that is that I'm going away for a week, and I don't want to have in the middle of March, and I don't want to have to worry about things getting fed or looked after or anything like that. So my intention is to get some live rock in the sump, miracle mud, Chemi-Pure Elite, some algae of some sort for the refugium, and I'm going to cycle the tank with Dr. Tim's One and Only, and then I'm going to dose just a little bit of ammonia with keeping within the recommended dosage according to Dr. Tim's. So that's how I'm basically just going to kind of kickstart the tank and bring it to life in a way. That will give me, 3-4 weeks for things to start getting going. So far as seeding the tank, start getting a biological filtration going, and it will allow me to just keep an eye on things and see how the tank develops, and hopefully it will cycle as well. We'll start getting the diatom blooms and things like that, and then that'll clear away in the space of between now and when I come back from my trip. So that's my plan, is to, as I said, start getting some life into the tank, but unfortunately not the good kind yet. Well, it is the good kind, but not the exciting kind anyway. So far as live rock goes, I'm going to put about anywhere between 10 and 20 pounds of it right here to the left of this baffle. And when this circulation pump is on, it's just going to blow water into that live rock. And we're going to see the water level, actually, the water when this circulation pump is on, it naturally goes down, up and over the baffle. So the idea is that we'll direct the water into that live rock. And that will just help speed things along a little bit, I guess. It might not make any difference, but I'll feel better knowing that I've got it set up that way. Then we're going to have 5 pounds of my miracle mud in this chamber, 10 pounds in this chamber, and then we'll throw in some Chato or something like that. The whole refugium thing is definitely something that's new to me, so I don't know if there's one algae that's particularly better than the other one so far as absorbing up nutrients, but it seems like the most common one that's used is Chato algae. So we'll have a look at that one. And then the Chemi-Pure Elite is going to sit on the other side of this baffle here. So again, all the water is going to roll through that Chemi-Pure Elite, and will be in contact with that as it goes through. So all the water that's going to be going into the tank is going to be full of good stuff. I guess that's it really. So far as the Aquascape goes, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I like that we've got lots of caves, lots of little crevices, some arches, things like that for the fish and invertebrates to hide out and make their home in, and then at the same time it still gives me a lot of room to for coral to grow into, as well as allowing a lot of swimming room for the fish too. I think that was quite important, is that, you know, I didn't want to overdo it, so, you know, less is more in a way. One thing that was important to me is that I didn't want any rocks to be touching the glass. I like keeping the glass in the back wall nice and clean. Some people like the natural look. They like seeing the algae grow, or the coral line up on there, but I like the clean look. Also, I like the water to be able to flow through every possible part of the tank too. I think that if you build up a wall against the back there, you really kind of, asking for trouble in a way, so far as algae build-ups, diatrus, things like that. And also, I just think it looks nicer, really, personally. But, each to his own, really. So, guys, that's about it for now. I think the next update will be in a week or two, once I've started getting the live rock in and the miracle mud and things like that. But yeah, really happy with how things are going. Wouldn't change a thing at this point, apart from the time that was wasted with the PVC. But definitely, lesson learned, and we'll have another crack at that, I think, next time. Just make sure I use a bit more PVC cement or something, I don't know. Alright guys, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.